All right. 6.5-point spread is where I got it. And then 18.5-point spread after the Jets scored for the third time. And what happened?
Well, what happened is that the New York Jets established themselves as the superior offensive football team early last night.
Rodgers under center. Quick step back and a throw to Lazard. Moves around Austin. Runs to the pylon. Dives in for a Jets touchdown. Alex Austin whiffed on the tackle with a step around. And the Jets are on the board as they take a 6-0 lead.
You hear that whiffed on the tackle part? Get ready for more of that because pretty much every highlight we're going to play for you today where the Jets are on offense should or could contain the whiffed on the tackle phrase.
Hey, Alex Austin got a hold of himself some jersey, man. He tugged that jersey, and that piece of jersey was about 5 yards long before Lazard made it in the end zone.
It's Alan Lazard. How are you going to stop him? I mean, it is it is. Listen, big deal. Statistically, he was the worst receiver in football last year. Mm-hmm. How are you going to stop him once he gets ahead of steam going?
That means he was due.
Not with Alex Austin, Fred.
It's like a roulette number. He was due.
That's usually how it works with players. You go from the worst, yes. And then they go, your time has come, kid.
Yeah, finally.
Get out there.
We had a long discussion about those breakaway shirts last night. I'm like, God, I've talked to people about this, and it's by design, literally. Like if you're gonna wear a shirt underneath your jersey, you want something that tacklers will grab onto easily, and they won't be able to pull you down. I don't know how it's legal to have breakaway trick clothing, but they every skill position on the offense seems to wear them. Running backs, receivers, they love them.
Didn't it used to be a different way where the uniform was so tight to the jersey and they'd spray it down with like Pam or something like that to make it extra slippery so you couldn't hold on to it?
Yeah, read anything about the 1970s Oakland Raiders, and they would they would cover themselves with Vaseline,
right,
and go out there. So the guys in the secondary would cover themselves basically with tar, and then the guys that were on the defensive line would basically coat themselves with Vaseline. You are absolutely correct.
So Jets get on the board early, 7-0. Now, I've been calling for more inclusion of Pop Douglas and Jalen Polk, and just throw it to the receivers. I've hardly been on an island with this. And, of course, the first pass goes to Hunter Henry last night, but it didn't take long to finally answer the wishes of many people watching the Patriots. Let's get Demario Douglas involved on this fantastic, phenomenal highlight reel play.
And Brissett from the gun takes the snap, screens it left for Pop Douglas, tries to escape, runs around 3 Jets to the right, moves into the backfield. He's able to reach the far edge to the right side, and he's taken out of bounds by Sherwood. And Pop Douglas was able to outrun about 6 Jets just to pick up a yard, maybe 2, on that play across the field.
He went from one sideline to the other. No place to go. So if you want to run side to side, we're happy with letting you do that. That is also a theme for the evening. No blocking.
120 yards to gain a yard and a half.
Yeah.
Great. Neat. No offense, zero protection for Jacoby Brissett, zero ability to get anything going in the run game, in the pass game. Meanwhile, when the Jets got the football,
handoff Hall up the middle, hit the backfield, and he rolls to the line.
Jennings got him up.
Anthony Jennings again in the backfield penetrating, and he slowed up the ball carrier enough to force Hall to the turf, off balance to the 1, and the Jets have a 4th down decision coming up.
No, they don't.
Jets PA hit the touchdown music. You just got to break the front edge of that white. I think he's clearly in.
It was very clearly in, and I actually felt bad for the Jets last night. I felt bad for you, Fred. I'm like, they shouldn't have to waste a challenge on this. That was a touchdown.
Well, I had a feeling it was going to go okay when Saleh and the officiating crew were yucking it up on the sideline when talking about it.
Isn't that what the whole replay center is supposed to be for instances like this, like goal line plays?
It's only
big
if
plays?
They call it a touchdown, then they review it. So that's why he had to do it. You get the challenge back. So he. But yeah, when he was yucking it up with the fellas on the sideline, I figured that. I think what I imagine is that the officials came up to him and said, "We screwed it up." and then because he like was putting the flag back in his pocket, and they were all laughing, like the officials were laughing, and so at that point I had very little doubt that they were going to call that a touchdown. There was. And anyway, if they were gone for it on 4th and inches, and they would have gotten it anyway.
I know, that's the thing. Do you really think the Jets would have kicked the field goal if he was ruled short?
No.
He would have gotten the touchdown anyway.
I wouldn't have kicked the field goal because the chances are, if you don't get it, which is slim, I would say, then you would just get a safety or an interception and score that way.
Aaron Rodgers throwing it all over the place last night in the first and second quarters, and not throwing it into the stands. I mean, nice streak of completions. Jets not content with running the ball. No, let's throw it. And he was throwing on crossing routes. He was hitting guys on the sideline. He was doing everything that you expected Aaron Rodgers to do in his first game as a New York Jet last year before his season was cut short. He looked like something approaching vintage Aaron Rodgers early on last night. It was surgical. It was... had it not been against a team that you would like to see win, it was something that was enjoyable to watch. And Fred, I'm sure you enjoyed it. That was a performance from Aaron Rodgers last night. We just listened to a rushing touchdown, but the reason why they were going down the field was Aaron Rodgers' arm.
What's funny is when you listen, and if you're like me and you watch and listen to a bunch of pundits talking about things, it's obvious. Now it's obvious that there's just no way that they watch all the games. There's no way. Because there was talk about like how crappy the Jets offensive line was, and then I heard a stat yesterday. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. And then I heard a stat yesterday about how they led the league in pass protection, like that Rodgers has the least amount of pressure. So I'm like, why are they saying that? And then they were like, oh, like, he looks old. He looks old. His arm doesn't have that. And that's just not true. Like even if you watch the whole San Francisco game, his arm was fine, and then his arm has been fine. Now yesterday he obviously was more comfortable and was running around a little bit.
That's what I was going to say.
Which he had not been doing.
Yeah, you were talking about his not inability, but his
reluctance to run,
go,
which is true because he hadn't been running. I mean, it's just a fact. But yeah, last night he was willing.
Rolled out to both sides, and made plays. And as a Jet fan, I mean, if you're expecting the Jets to go far, that's going to help a lot.
If I'm expecting him not to get hurt, that's going to mean a lot, because it's as funny as it may sound, and I know you can snap your Achilles running, but when he got hurt last year just on those 4 plays, he just was letting the rush hit him. He wasn't moving, and then in the first 2 games, more so the San Francisco game where he wasn't moving at all, he was just like sitting there in the pocket. That you're almost allowing yourself to get hit there. I think you're better off taking off a little bit. I mean, you can slide, right? So I think you're better off just like taking off and sliding. So, but it is funny just, and listen, everyone was right. The Jets rush defense has been terrible, and it wasn't very good last year either. But some of the critiques I was hearing of the team just weren't true.
Right. And
especially, I know people hate Aaron Rodgers, but it's not like he isn't a talented, physically talented quarterback.
I can't stand, the guy personally, but watching him, as you said, John, rolling right, rolling left, and the flick of the wrist passes, to me, that is evidence of a guy who's starting to feel comfortable now. It's because if you're going to get out of the pocket like that and you're going to force something, or you're going to tighten up, that's when you do it. Well, he's been doing it long enough to A, it's probably not going to happen, and B, once he gets comfortable, that's it. He's rolling out of the pocket, and he was loose.
The other part of it is, if you're a Jet fan, as Fred is, you now recognize that the Jets are very, very good. And the reason I say that is, if you're a very good team and you face a crappy team, what is your mandate? You put that team away quickly, you step on their throats, you don't let up, and that's how you know that you're a very, very good team. The expectations are there, and you follow through on it.
I'm not going to call them a very, very good team yet.
I think they are. And not only that, they got consistent pressure without 2 of their top pass rushers. I mean, Reddick isn't there, and their other best pass rushers done for the season, and they still managed to get to the quarterback. Now, part of that is a factor of the Patriots' offensive line, but another part of that is the Jets' defense is great up front.
Did they get to Brissett last night?
Douglas motions to the right. Brissett, play fake. He's in trouble. He's hit. And 3 Jets converge on the court.
Pretty sure Zoe said Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hold on, let's take that back.
Douglas motions to the right. Brissett, play fake. He's in trouble. He's hit. And 3 Jets converge on the quarterback. Jacoby Brissett coming off the play fake with McDonald leading the swarming Jets to the sack back at the 34-yard line.
Yeah.
Jesus.
All right. 7 of his first 15 dropbacks, he got hit.
By the way, Will McDonald IV, the controversial first-round pick of the Jets a couple years ago, has got 5 sacks this season. So let's relax with who can. Best, they don't need Reddick. Who? That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
7 of the first 15 dropbacks he was hit.
Okay, so let's take a break because this is a good time to. Well, guess what? If you're the head, and this is got to really bug you if you're a Patriots fan. Guess what? So your offensive line is historically bad. Your starting quarterback is getting absolutely destroyed.
Yes.
You've made the decision not to play your 21-year-old quarterback because let's face it, the team's probably not ready for him. Pop him in when everything's going real bad.
And you have your 4th string left side of the line to protect him.
Yeah.
Because your 2 3rd stringers got hurt and can't play.
Oh, and by the way, the Jets weren't up 60, like where they were playing, like, their punter at, at defensive end. Like, there were still good players on the field.
No, but we need to play Drake Maye. Very important to play him.
The first thing that Mayo has done, I mean, you could split hairs on clock management but the first thing Mayo has done that is absolutely just whoa.
All right, so we left off with, things not going well for the Patriots last night at the Meadowlands. And if there was any indication that maybe Drake Maye was going to be going to the game, I believe I even said out loud, there's no way Drake Maye's going to play tonight. Drake Maye's not playing tonight. Oh, boy.
Shotgun snap to Brissett. Stands in under pressure. Rolls to his left. He's tackled. Throws the ball to the near side. A flag comes in on the play as Quinton Williams got to the quarterback. Another holding call against the Patriots. And Jacoby Brissett, slow to his feet.
Y'all relax. You're going to see Drake Maye before you think you're going to see him.
Yeah.
He had to fix his shoulder pads.
Might see Drake Maye before you think you're going to see him. Now, I think Zoe said that because he thought Jacoby Brissett had finally, after taking hit after hit and being sacked several times over these first 3 games, may have actually been hurt. I don't even think Zoe thought that they were going to put Drake Maye in for mop-up duty, but sure enough, they did. Couldn't quite believe it when I saw him putting his helmet on the sideline.
Well, Tara Sullivan writes this, and if you'll recall, we've talked to a lot of these guys about if Drake Maye should be the backup because of this very reason. That, Drake Maye came in, and do you want to say what happened when Drake Maye came in? I guess that would probably be good.
Yeah, we can. I mean, we got a couple of things here, but I think it's better to talk about it. It's first snap.
The situation for the NFL debut in the regular season, one Drake Maye, the rookie out of North Carolina, the 3rd overall pick in this year's draft, on in relief of Jacoby Brissett.
Let's go, push it.
To work with Gibson to his right. 3 receivers to the wide side left. Shotgun snap to Maye. Quick throw to the right. Nearly intercepted. And incomplete. With a beat on the ball by Michael Carter. A throw intended for Austin Hooper.
Quick throw. Quick throw.
Oh, yeah.
Of course it's a quick throw. You just watched your quarterback take a beating. Of course you're going to call for a quick throw. The problem was there was a Jet linebacker there standing next to his intended receiver.
Drake Maye looked like a child. He looked like a child out there. I mean, it looked mean. It looked abusive at that point. And so Drake Maye comes in. He is 4 for 8 for 22 yards, but the good news is he was sacked twice.
The worst part about it was the second play or the third play, he was scrambling around, of course, under pressure. He wriggled out, like turned 180 degrees to get out of a leg tackle, only to get body slammed to the ground. I didn't think he was going to get up. I mean, this is why I said at the beginning of training camp, and I still say now, you can't play this kid. This offensive line is horrible. It's the worst offensive line in the league. And it didn't matter. It wouldn't matter if Adarian Lowe was out there at left tackle either. He's not much better than the guy who was replacing that got hurt last night. Caden Wallace, his first ever start as a left tackle, was not good. Now, Maybe you have a season to try and develop him. We were talking to Phil Perry about that earlier. But you develop him with Jacoby Brissett there, not with Drake Maye there. If you want to protect your investment and not ruin him, you don't put him out there at all.
So I agree, and I think anyone who is sane would agree. I'd find that decision to play him yesterday fascinating. And here is what Tara Sullivan said, which is in the Globe, which is very similar to some of the things we've been saying over the course ever since he was drafted. For 2 weeks, the plan has worked well enough with the Patriots. With a Week 1 surprise in Cincinnati, followed by the overtime home loss to Seattle, games in which Brissett didn't do all that much statistically, but more than proved his toughness and smarts. He stood his ground. He moved in the pocket, he scrambled when needed, and found quick outlets. But 3 weeks in, the picture is getting uglier. No way the Patriots should even consider keeping their prized prospect in this mess. They should instead think about not having him be active as Brissett's backup, because too many more games like this and the 31-year-old journeyman will be handing the ball to Maye, not out of choice by the coaching staff, but out of necessity by the medical one. Had that happened Thursday, had Maye gotten hurt behind late in a blowout loss because his coach thought it was a good opportunity to get playing time, there would be no acceptable defense. Mayo and Maye escaped this time. No need to play with that fire again, which I know I don't like saying this, but this is what I've thought all along, and what I keep asking the people that cover the team: why is Drake Maye your backup? We've seen this happen before. We saw it last year with the Jets. They had no intention of playing Zach Wilson. They didn't want to play him. 4 plays into the season, as you know, Rodgers got hurt. They talked about it once or twice yesterday. And then Wilson comes in. He's terrible. It ruins him. He's the third-string quarterback in Denver now. You can't run with this offensive line, which is truly horrible. Horrible. And I'm convinced now that the reason that they were able to beat Cincinnati is that Mayo ran the camp as tough as he did, and the Patriots were just far more ready to play football in Week 1 of the season than the Bengals were, and the Bengals were kind of willing to trade off one game, the first game of the season, for health, later in the season. I mean, I think we can all agree with that, because this offensive line is terrible, and I know I haven't brought his name up in a long time, but if it's worth ruining your number 3 overall pick, the future of your franchise, to keep Joe Milton on this team.
I was just going to say, sign Zappe back off the Kansas City practice squad and risk putting Milton on your practice squad. Risk that, because he's not your future. The other kid is.
I mean, it's so dumb to keep 2 rookie quarterbacks when one of them is the future and the other one is the definition of a project. It has no. I'm now getting stuck on Milton. This will follow me for 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Watch Tennessee this year without him. There you go. They might be a top 4 team.
Seconds, yeah.
That was quick, yeah. Right,
they might be a top 4 team this year.
Yeah.
Before it's all said and done. They're winning games 70-0. Milton couldn't do that. Go ahead.
It's a totally different conversation if you've got some kind of a line or some kind of a weapon out there that he could utilize, and there's nothing for him. And to put him in not only in that situation last night where your quarterback is getting destroyed, but then to leave him out there for the 4th and 10 instead of just saying, you know what, the game's over. What are we going to do? Oh no! Not only are we going to leave him out there, we're going to have him try and pull off some kind of a miracle here with very little time left on the clock. The game is over. All right, you picked up the first down. Congratulations. Then what?
They're going to go to the no huddle, but they leave those timeouts in their pocket with Maye now on a 1st and goal to go. Takes the snap, looks right with a pump. In trouble, he's sacked. Dropped at the 12-yard line. 12-second at 11.
Yeah, they're letting it go.
And 10.
Gerard's seen enough.
And some of the Patriots are already walking toward the locker room to our left as the Jets thoroughly dominate the Patriots.
Helmet came off. You're thinking, yeah, of course. As I see the helmet rolling away from the pile, I said, it's got to be Maye's helmet. What's perfect ending to a perfect night.
Jacoby Brissett is going to get hurt. He's going to miss time. It's just a matter of time before that happens.
I wonder
he's taking a beating back there, and it's going to happen sooner rather than later.
Well,
it's going to happen in week 4, 5, or 6. He's going to go down, and he's not going to get back up. And they're going to put this kid out there, and he's going to go down, and he's not going to get back up.
He had to have been hurting last night. Now, was he hurt last night when he left the game? I don't think so, but I'm sure he was happy not to have to go back in there. He was slow to get up a couple of times. He didn't want to be out there.
It's after he took a beating against Seattle. I mean, it's only a matter of time. And now they have to go play San Francisco.
Well, here's the deal.
A week from Sunday.
Is that I've heard people talking about, well, you have this long week going into San Francisco. You should play him there. No, you're gonna lose in San Francisco the way you lost last night. Then you turn around and play the Dolphins, and then you play the Texans the week after, and I don't want Maye anywhere near that Texans defense, anywhere near Anderson and the rest of that pass rush. I don't want him throwing against that secondary. I don't want anything to do with that.
It has nothing to do with preparation.
You don't play a bad defense again. You play the Dolphins, the Texans, the Jaguars, the Jets, the Titans. The Titans' defense is good, by the way. They have a good defense. They do. I mean, why would you play him in any of those games?
It's not even that, Fred. The argument is, well, you give the kid with the mini bye, you give him 10 days to get ready, and it's not a preparation thing. It's a talent thing. It doesn't matter for Darian Lowe and City So are healthy. It doesn't matter who's there. The talent on the offensive line in that room is so bad that you could prepare from now until December for a game, and it's not going to matter. Your quarterback is in trouble.
You know how you prepare for next Sunday's game? You tell the offense, have a week off. This is a bye week. Go ahead. What we're going to do when you guys come back, just so you know, is we're going to put 6 guys on the offensive line again. We're just going to run the football. Instead, defense, you guys report every single day, and we're going to teach you how to tackle again because you forgot how to do it against the Jets. We're gonna try. We're not gonna beat San Francisco. We'll see what happens against Miami if you guys can put forth a good defensive effort and actually tackle people, and we'll see if we can win that game 6-3.
And that underlines the fact of how narrow a path this team has to walk. The defense has to be not above average, but close to perfect. And in the first 2 weeks, they tackled. They held for the most part the other team down, and that kept your team in the game. And if the defense can't do that, if the defense is unable to contain the opposing offense, and you fall behind, well, they were down 10-0, and we knew the game was over. Oh, 14-0. Sorry, we knew the game was over.
Yeah, all right.
Done.
But one positive is that Christian Gonzalez looks like he's legit. He was good on Garrett Wilson.
5 catches, 33 yards for Garrett Wilson, and the 1 touchdown to Garrett Wilson, that was an Aaron Rodgers thing. There aren't too many quarterbacks that make that throw.
And it was also forced to Wilson because he desperately wanted Wilson to get a touchdown in that particular game.
Gonzalez was there and missed it by what, a millimeter?
Yeah, he went for an interception, and that was a good pass.
If you like that clip, and how could you not? Check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. Point slightly up and to the left. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. Point slightly down and to the left. And for the latest from the Sports Hub, download at 985thesportshub.com.